We're back on Red Corner, Blue Corner, and we got to talk about J.J. McCarthy because he did just enough to help lead the Wolverines to their 10th national championship. But Jim Harbaugh went as far as to call J.J. McCarthy the greatest quarterback in program history. Now, Jake, I want to open the floor up to you to answer this question, and I'll give my take on it. Are you buying into the claim that J.J. McCarthy is the greatest quarterback in the history of Michigan football?
Yes, I am. And just real quick, because it amazes me I have to say this, but I do know I have to say this. I'm not comparing JJ to Tom Brady. We're talking about the guys that wore the winged helmet in Ann Arbor. Tom Brady's the greatest.
Right.
But in terms of guys to wear the winged helmet college career for the University of Michigan, JJ McCarthy is the greatest. It has never been more challenging to win. I know Brian Griese led that team to a 1997 national championship. He certainly deserves his flowers. There's been some great ones to come through, but it's never been harder to win. That 97 championship was split. This one was not split. You think about his career as a starter. Seriously, one of the highest winning percentages of all time. I think in recent history, he is the highest, not just at Michigan, across all of college football. And I understand the stats may not jump off the screen, but to me, I think the irony in that is the stats not jumping off the screen is what makes him so special, because he's extremely selfless. Michigan didn't just need stats. They needed a leader. They needed a stable general to guide their army, and that's J.J. McCarthy. We found out in that Penn State game when they ran the ball 30 straight times, it was J.J. McCarthy's idea. He went over to Sharon Moore and said, "Coach, run it, run it. They can't stop us." That, to me, is a true leader. That, to me, is the definition of greatness. And every time you've needed JJ to step up, when you've needed him most, he's executed. To me, I almost don't even think it's close, JP. But to lead your team to a 15-0, 15-0, that's an NFL schedule. 15-0, remarkable, greatest to ever do it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to argue with, and I know people are trying to do the whole stats thing, but I think you bring up a very important aspect to the college game is I think your quarterback has to have the DNA of a winner, and that's what JJ has displayed his whole time in Ann Arbor. He has always been cool and calm and collected, and he has always deflected praise and given it to his teammates. He is a guy who has always had the right mentality and the right attitude for that program, and ultimately, he's made key plays when necessary. You're backed up in a third down, and you know if you hold that football, bad things can happen. So let me just pull it down and run the ball for 30 yards. And I made the argument that one of the biggest plays that he made in the Rose Bowl was when it was a third down, I believe, and he converted it for a first down. What he does in a timely way, I think, is more important sometimes than the aggregate of the numbers for J.J. McCarthy. So certainly appreciate the way that he's played. And the question is, have we seen the last game for J.J. McCarthy as a Michigan Wolverine? Do you believe that he should come back to college?
Okay, so we can separate what I think he should do and what I think he will do. Should he come back? I think he should. I think he should for a few reasons. One, I think that he has progressed. I don't think he's hit his ceiling yet as a quarterback. And I understand you can go to the NFL and continue to progress. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think he will progress, whether he's at Michigan or at the next level, regardless. But I do think that this is a historically deep quarterback class. I think if he comes back next year and solidifies and leads his team to a further great season, 1-loss, 2-loss season against excellent competition with the expanding Big Ten, I do think that will further cement his case to be a first rounder. I know there's some guys out there that think he could be a first rounder. I think he's right there on the fringe. It probably depends on other factors. But if he comes back next year and progresses the way he did year over year throughout his career, I think he's a first-round pick, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wouldn't have him as a first-rounder right now, and it's not a knock on him. Obviously, I just mentioned every reason why.
Do you think he could be?
He could be, and I think teams would look at the ceiling that you talked about. But and I'm not trying to take away from anything. I talked about all the reasons why he's a great winner. But I think
Yep.
that the way that Michigan has played games, and part of it's stylistically, but I also think part of it's JJ, is in some really big moments, they have taken the game away from his arm. And the NFL is a league where you pass, 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 pass. And so I think I would just want the reassurance that game on the line, it's time to put it on his arm. Maybe you're down by 14, you're down by 10, and you need to get a couple of quick drives in there. Is he the guy who's going to do that? And it's not to say that he can't, it's just to say that we haven't seen it a ton. And that's something he can prove next year.